Good morning, good afternoon and good evening, America. Before I start the video, here is a quick America sequence, just to make you feel relaxed. It's got eagles and like cheesy guitar and stuff you all really love, so enjoy. 2 weeks ago I put the case forward for UK food. Some of you got very angry. Well, actually 99% of you didn't. So thank you for that. Thank you for your suggestions, for your food on your side of the pond. The case for the US that you all made was fantastic, and I thank you so much for every single bit of correspondence I had. What I've done on your behalf is put together a top 10, just as I did with the UK foods. There's going to be some stuff missing, of course there is, just as there was with the UK side. A lot of people saying, what about the fresh vegetables we have here? I'm not talking about vegetables on YouTube. I'll be kicked off for violating boring guidelines. I do hope I've done this justice. I've come at it as if I'm on your side, so here it comes. But first, if you are from other countries, because I had all the other countries come at me saying, well, our food's obviously better. Yeah, we all know that. But I do have a job for you, so stick around to the end of the video. Burger. So obviously the burger is way more than a McBurger. Despite its disputed origin, it's thought to originate from the US with some German influence, hence the Hamburg part of the name. There are many claimants to the title of inventor, but usually the stories involve one ingredient or food running out. So a little ingenuity was required, and the hamburger was rustled up. My favourite story is the first burger was a meat patty between two bits of toast. It gained popularity in the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis, or St. Louis. What do you call it? St. Louis. Many small vendors were there selling a version of the burger, so it's hard to actually associate who with what burger and who did what where and when. And ever since then, that's the food we associate with you. It should be seen as a good thing, really. It's easy to cloud the burger with the fast foodinization of the modern world, but really when you've got a proper fresh burger, fresh ingredients inside, lettuce, tomato, bacon, etc., a real good sauce, and it's too big to fit in your mouth, and there's juice and from the sauce and the meat all running down your hands and your arms into your sleeve, it's a proper food experience. Americanization. As I was saying about us here in the UK adopting the curry as a national dish, the only way we really adapt it to make it UK is just having chips on the side and maybe a pint of Carling. The US seems to adapt other cultures' food well, giving it an American spin. You've got Tex-Mex, Chicago deep dish pizza, Italian foods in New York and pretty much every other culture in New York, hot dogs from Germany, Irish dishes in the Irish bars across the land, and Chinese interpretations like chop suey. Maybe, I think that's still disputed. BBQ and Cookouts. This was a big one. Loads of comments about barbecues. Some were very detailed about what a barbecue is. We have them here in the UK. My dad even does them when it's pissing down. But there's more of a culture to it there. Taino Indians would cook animals over smoke and fire. In the Taino language, the culinary ritual was coined barbecue, which translates as sacred pit in English. The Spaniards renamed it barbacoa, and as they eventually moved north, they spread and popularised the barbacoa in the current-day southern states of the US. And as the US expanded, so did barbecuing, with all its regional variations. You've got pulled pork, you've got brisket, you've got ribs, you've got corn, barbecue sauce, you cook it low and slow on coals, flame grilled, marinades and rubs. That's how you barbecue. How you do it is how you barbecue. Sure, we have it here, but I mean it's a little sad in comparison. In fact, they're usually just watery, pre-packed meat patties with a bit of squeaky cheese on top, which is nice, don't get me wrong, but you know, I wouldn't claim victory on the barbecue inside, that's for sure. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but cookouts are different to barbecues. I didn't quite get this. Cookouts are more of your sort of big party where you're just cooking the meat quick, getting it out to all the guests, your family, your friends. You're enjoying the music outside, the sun's out, something you call the sun. We see it once a year. And yeah, it's more your sort of party rather than the barbecue side, which is more of an art form. Is that right? Let me know. Stadium foods. So a little story on stadium food, which I think shows the contrast pretty well. I was at a Chelsea match, Chelsea FC, and as I said in my previous food video, we have pies at UK grounds, UK football grounds. Very popular, very nice, depending on the ground. But you also get burgers, you get hot dogs, crisps, whatever, chocolate bars. So it was half time, I arrived down to the food stalls late. I asked for I think it was a hot dog at the time. They did good hot dogs at Chelsea, sold out. So I said, how about a burger? Sold out. Okay, what do you have? And he said, wraps. Yes, we call tortillas wraps, which is not embarrassing. Anyway, so I said, with what in? And he said, let me look. And then he came back, he said, we have one left and it's the all-day breakfast wrap. That was my choice at a football stadium, an all-day breakfast wrap. And in my head, I went back to the ballpark in Arlington, 1994. Nachos, hot dogs with everything you could ever think of on them. Gherkins, those lattice-like fried potato fajings. What they called? A massive beaker of 7-Up as big as my head. Corn dogs, and of course Cracker Jack. Take me out of the... Proper seasoning. One message I got, which made me laugh and sums it up pretty succinctly, is this. How did you lot all exploit most of the world for spices, but not actually bother to put them in your food? Fair enough. Seafood. Now, I didn't include seafood for the UK too much, just a bit at the end, and that is despite the fact it could well be the best place on earth for seafood. The reason I didn't include it much is because we don't really eat it. The depth and the beauty of our coastal ingredients, from our crab to our langoustines and oysters, it is fantastic. We are so lucky here. Now, I don't mean you, the UK viewer watching me now, but let's just say the average Brit doesn't have the most sophisticated palate, to put it politely, but really the rest of Europe and the world does. Here is a graph of the fish imports and exports by country. On the right there, exports from the UK, and in the top 5, France, Netherlands, Ireland, Spain, and the US. You know how good our lobster is, let's just say. We don't. Of course, the fact we export and have high value on these commodities drives the price up locally. It's cheaper to get our seafood from factory ships that ship the products to Hull, way, and then it's distributed throughout the UK, sometimes to shops right next to, say, Holyhead, where the best lobster on earth lives, some say. If you ever need a living example of the Dunning-Kruger effect, speak to a Brexiteer about fishing. So what's my point? I don't know. I guess my point is that the US knows how to treat, cook and serve its seafood. Oh my god, shrimp and grits, the lobster rolls you get in the northeast, clam chowder, crab cakes, jambalaya, which I'll come back to later. Lobster mac and cheese I read somewhere, is that real? That's ridiculous. In a good way. Portion sizes and sides. Portion sizes are growing because you can load food with loads of cheap addictive shit for cheap. Here's an example of how portion sizes are growing. How is this a positive? You get more for your money. Well done. I've put sides in the discussion with portion sizes as out there, sides are a big part of the portion, and sometimes they can be as filling, right? I always remember watching US cooking shows and seeing the main meal go on, and then suddenly all these sides come in from nowhere. American desserts. That's right, desserts, not puddings. Yes, I know. Cheesecake, cookies, peach cobbler, banana pudding, key lime pie, mud pie, Marion berry crisp, pecan pie. Yours seem lighter, fruitier. I mean, we have an eaten mess here I didn't mention last time, which is strawberries, cream and meringue. That's really nice. That's a good summer dessert. And obviously you associate strawberries with Wimbledon and the summer here. But I reckon it's 50-50 on this one. Puddings versus desserts. Desserts versus puddings. I reckon we draw. And I'm thinking it might be a climate thing, really. our puddings are that stodgy and warming, whereas yours are lighter and fruitier. Does that represent the different climates in our countries? Hello? Does it? Is this joke getting old yet, or... No, okay, I'll carry on, fine. Diversity. I mean this in terms of geography and climate, first of all. There is a stark difference that can exist here between neighbouring states, let alone one side of the country to the other. That makes for some very interesting state-by-state delicacies, some that even take on the name of the state, like buffalo wings or the Philly cheesesteak. And also the variation on produce. Think of the meats, bison to elk to reindeer. The South. And we're here at number 10, and I think the food of the South could well win it for the US. Just as I did in the UK episode, we've got to be real about this. The African American population came from a slave trade where people were ripped from their homes and their homeland. The land they were forced to work under slavery became their land under freedom. Out of this smear of crap on human history came greatness. The music we love today via blues, jazz and rock and roll. And then, of course, food of the highest quality. Soul food, so called because they speak to more than just the taste buds. It's more than a process to fuel us as we survive. It's fuel for the soul. Well, at the end of the day, I did mention we had steak and kidney pudding that you can steam, so we win. That's the end of that, official. I really do hope I've done justice to all of your input. Thank you so much again. And now, if you're from other countries, what I want you to do is find me on Instagrams and tag me in your homemade foods from wherever you are. But put it on the top story thing, is that what it is? Stories? Put it on there, I'll story out the stories of your amazing foods, and you can just show off and show us why we're both US and UK are both. That's the end of the video.